All right, one final thing I wanted to talk about today. I guess just a bit of a. I don't want to go on a rant too much here, but it seems like
Okay.
every year around the Super Bowl, we see these articles that talk about, Cooper Cup was a zero-star recruit. Stars don't
Yeah.
matter.
Right.
You've seen these articles every year,
I
surely.
I
Like
have.
you know what I'm
I have.
talking about.
I do. Yeah.
I just want to like put this out there for, and maybe like people hear these and they also wonder why we talk so much about recruiting. And I'm
Yep.
here to tell you, like, yeah, most of the players in the NFL, just statistically, were not 4 and 5 star players.
Right.
The reason for this is very clear. There are way, way more 3 and 2 star players every year coming out of high school than there are 4 and 5 star players. If I just look at this, just this last year's cycle that just signed, just looking at the numbers as far as like number of recruits, there are currently in the class of 2022 34 5 stars, 354 stars, 1,681 3 stars, and I didn't count the 2 stars, but I know it's most years it's similar to the number of 3 stars. So just the sheer volume, like there's 255 draft picks or something every year.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
yeah, there's more 3 stars than 4 and 5 stars because there's just way more out there. If you look at percentage of the stars that are drafted, or I can word that a little better, I guess. I think you know what I'm talking about. Like
I do.
percentage of the 5 stars that get drafted, percentage of the 4 stars that get drafted, and so on. 5 star recruits coming out of high school, roughly 57 to 66% of them, depending on what year you look at, get drafted. So almost 2/3 of 5 stars get drafted.
Right.
Pretty significant.
It is.
4 stars, we drop down to about 23 to 24%. Still a decent number, but it's like way lower than the 5 stars. 3 stars, we're looking at 5 to 7%. And 2 stars, 1 to 1.5%. This drops significantly with each star. So, and it, by the way, like these numbers for like the percentage of 5 stars that get drafted is slowly going up over the last 20 years just because recruiting rankings are getting better. Now we have like
Yeah.
4 major services that are all doing recruiting
Yeah.
rankings. You combine them together
Yep.
and you get a much more accurate picture of high school talent than you did in 2002 when it was pretty much just rivals and nobody else. Like
Yeah.
recruiting rankings matter. So just because Cooper Cup made it as a 0 star does not mean that your college is better off going out and recruiting all the 0 stars and 3 stars and so on. Like 4 and 5 star recruits still matter. A much higher percentage of 5 stars make it to the NFL than 4 stars, and so on down the line.
I think when you look at to like the ones that have like NFL players that end up having like a ton of success, you look at like Stafford, Matt Stafford, the Super Bowl winner. He was a high 5 star, right?
Yep.
Like you like even like Mahomes is extremely talented. He wasn't ranked quite as high. Like he was very raw, but like the talent was there, which is that's what these services are trying to do, is just like identify freak talents. Like
Yeah.
Kyler Murray and Joe Burrow were also very, very talented, well regarded quarterbacks coming out. Like what they're trying to do is put a number on like the talent level, and like pretty much like show you like they just have a higher likelihood to succeed, pretty much is what it means. It's not
Yeah.
it's not the end all be all. Aaron
It's not
Donald
a
was like
guarantee at all.
no,
Yeah.
no. Aaron Donald was like a 2 star, right? And like
Yep.
went to Pitt, and he was like he's a stud. So, but yeah, I think when you look at like it, when you kind of look at the composite of it all, like Jamar Chase had a huge year. He was a high 4, almost a 5. Like
Yeah.
these guys were stars, and yeah, Odell had a good year when he went to the Rams. Like the ones that do show out and are at an elite level are often well regarded coming out of high school. Not always, but often.
Yeah. We just saw Bryce Young win the Heisman. He was a 5 star recruit, the number one quarterback in his class. He's probably going to be the number one player taken in the NFL draft a year from now. Like,
Probably.
yeah, again, it's not that you can't make it to the NFL as a 3 star or a 2 star or a 0 star. It
It's harder.
happens. It happens all the time. It's just the percentage. And again, also on the other side of that coin, like being a 5 star does not guarantee you success. It does not guarantee that you will be drafted. Like roughly 1/3 of them don't get drafted, but you have a much higher chance of being drafted if you're a 5-star or a 4-star relative to a 3-star lower. And we use the NFL draft just because that's kind of a gauge that you can use to see how successful players were in college.
So just gonna throw this in real quick, and I know we got to go, but just real quick, just a little. Josh Pate, he does like a mood tracker thing, you know, like he does like schools mood. We're gonna do an Arch Manning mood tracker, and like just right now, just off the cuff, just real quick before we get out, where do you think that Arch Manning will be attending school?
Ooh, man, I think it's probably either Alabama or Texas.
Yeah, yeah,
And man, I just feel like so I know Texas got David Cutcliffe, who is a big friend of the Manning family,
yeah,
had a hand in developing both Peyton and Eli.
right.
I do like I think the smart money probably still has to just be Alabama, like because it's Alabama. Is that what do you think?
I don't think his brother or his uncles or his dad will let him go to Alabama. I don't
Okay,
believe that. I don't think that. I think they respect him. I don't think they'll go there. For me, Texas is the school.
all
Like
right,
I think you're silly to not go there, especially like Cutcliffe does have the Manning ties.
yeah,
The only thing like LSU, the local like LSU is local for him. That's home, you know, for him. That's where
yeah,
he's from. If they make I'm not even sure. LSU is maybe my sleeper. LSU is a team that no
okay,
one's talking about yet, but I think will get in the game late. I know Georgia is kind of viewed as like one of the favorites for him. He'd be silly to go there. Like, why would you go to
right,
Georgia? I'm a Georgia fan. Still think he'd be silly to go there. I'm
yeah.
going Texas with LSU. LSU is the sleeper.
By the way, we should talk. I mean, just Arch Manning is in the class of 23. The class of 23 is a really good quarterback class. Like,
Yeah.
there's going to be some really good big name quarterbacks coming out of this class. Uh, People aren't talking about it, but I think the class of 2022, the current high school seniors that are about to be freshmen in college, I think it was actually a bit of a poor class, if I can say that, for quarterbacks.
Yeah.
There's a few that have a chance. Like, obviously some of these will turn out to be really good. Like, that's how it
Hmm.
works. Cade Klubnik probably has as good a chance as any, but I think there's probably about 5 quarterbacks in the next class that are on that level. Like, I think maybe yeah,
Right.
there's
Right.
about 5 guys that are just as good or better than the best quarterback in the last class. Just something to keep an eye on as far as recruiting goes over the next cycle.